This is the Samsung Galaxy A55 and here is the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G. For 668,000 Naira or $425, the Samsung Galaxy A55 wants to be your plus one, but for $35 less or 613,800 Naira, the Redmi here doubles the storage at 256 gigs and also matches the RAM, that is 8 gigs of RAM, just like the Samsung. Honestly, there's just one device to get here if you want the best value for money, obviously the Redmi, but it comes with a catch. You have to watch till the end of this video to find out if that's a deal breaker so you don't make a $400 mistake. And so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. Alright, pop the boxes and the A55 has got the basics covered. You have the SIM ejector, user manual, USB-C cable and of course with the smartphone itself. But Redmi's like that friend who brings, the chips, dips and the party. It throws in a beautiful case, a whopping 120 watts charger. This is about the most total or complete unboxing experience you can get right now on a smartphone. Way better than what you get from the Samsung Galaxy A55. This makes what Samsung is offering look like child's play for more money. Redmi wins in this category. As far as design, Samsung has tried to make the A series look like their top-end devices right now, so you can easily pass these recent A series for the S series and people won't actually really know at a quick glance, but the Note 13 here is actually premium looking. It has this unique style and design that screams premium. Both smartphones are made out of metallic frames sandwiched between two glasses for the front and the back, and you have this Gorilla Glass protection for both of them. You obviously have Gorilla Glass Victus Plus on the A55 and the not too far off Gorilla Glass Victus on the Redmi. The reason I prefer the design on the Redmi 13 Pro here is because of the curved sides. It actually assumes your palm and makes it sit well within your palms, but on the other side, the Samsung Galaxy A55 has this boxy, flat-sided design that makes it easy to grip. Button placements are about the same with no headphone jack on both of the smartphones. As far as the SIM trays, you have the hybrid type of SIM tray on the Galaxy A55, meaning one SIM card and a microSD card, or you use two SIMs without being able to expand your memory or storage here. But on the other hand, you have no memory card expansion slots on the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G. Obviously, both of these devices are 5G smartphones and they support eSIM feature. Still on design, one thing I love about this Samsung device, or I prefer here, is the less branding happening at the back of the smartphone. I can also see reasons why anyone would pick the Samsung because it looks like the top-end models from Samsung, and that's valid. But additionally, the Redmi here has an IR blaster which has countlessly come to save the day whenever I need to control my electronics and don't have a remote laying around. I'll let you decide which you prefer in terms of the build quality and design from the smartphones. I'd personally go with the Redmi here. I prefer this kind of design, but I know it's subjective. Let me know what you prefer in the comment section below. Now, both of these devices boast stereo speakers, blasting tunes that will make you dance all day. But the Redmi speaker is the one to pick because it has this clarity and oomph to it, and it also has this Dolby Atmos support on the speakers. Now it's about time to test the microphones on the smartphones and let you know what this sounds like. Mic check 1 2. This is a microphone test and comparison between the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G and the Samsung Galaxy A55. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Mic check 1 2. This is a microphone test and comparison between the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G and the Samsung Galaxy A55. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. For the biometrics on these smartphones, you get the optical in-display fingerprint scanner on both of them. I have issues with the placement on the Note here. It feels a little bit too far from reach and should have been pushed a little higher than the position right now. And I also did notice that the A55's fingerprint scanner sometimes was a tad bit slower. So speed goes for Redmi and placement goes for the A55. I'll give this round a tie. Now on the display side of things, the Note 13 Pro Plus 5G here takes the cake, no doubt. Of course, Samsung has given us some of the best displays out there, but for this competition, the Redmi takes the lead. For the size, you get a 6.67 AMOLED panel on the Redmi against 6.6-inch Super AMOLED panel on the Samsung. Both can refresh at 120Hz and support HDR10 plus content, but Redmi gives you this extra support for Dolby Vision. It gets up to 1800 nits in brightness against 1000 nits on the Samsung. It also has 1220 by 2712 resolution against 1080 by 2340 resolution on the Samsung, meaning the resolution on the Redmi is better, giving you higher pixel density. It simply means the Redmi has the better display. Both have support for always-on display, but so far, by all specifications, you're better off with the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G's display. The one thing I have to point out here is the curved display on the Redmi. This is something I've noticed that a lot of people do not really like. They prefer flatter displays, function over design. Personally, I do not mind. I like curved displays. Now let's talk about performance on these devices. You get the Helios 7200 Ultra on the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G, and you get the Exynos 1480 on Samsung, which is a new chipset, both of which have 4nm transistors. Now on paper, the Redmi has a slight edge over the Samsung, but for my day-to-day use, I couldn't really tell the difference between these two smartphones. They were really close enough to say they perform about the same as far as these smartphones use go. If you love to see the benchmark scores for this comparison, here are the Geekbench, Antutu, and 3D Mark scores to give you an idea of what we're working with. Samsung is rocking Android 14 out of the box, while Redmi here gives you Android 13, but updates will probably happen, of course. Both have support for OS updates into the future, and Samsung has promised you a 4-year OS software update on this smartphone, the A55, and also 5 years of security patches, while Redmi doesn't have an official proposed update path as far as I know, but you're likely going to get up to 3 years of major Android updates, just like the Poco X6 models. Now the cameras. For the cameras, you have triple camera setups on both of them. For Redmi, it's a 200 megapixel main sensor, an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and a 2 megapixel macro lens. While the Galaxy on the other hand gives you a 50 megapixel main lens, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a 5 megapixel macro lens. The photos from both of the smartphone cameras are really nice, but when you take a closer look, the Samsung's photos look quite red, more saturated and contrasty, and this makes the photos from the Redmi look like they are brighter, and by extension, sometimes they feel better. When you get photos of people, especially the dark-skinned individuals, you notice that the white balance seems a little bit off with Samsung. The same thing can be said for the new photos here. You get better exposure from Redmi, but when you manually expose for the photo, you begin to see how better the Galaxy A55 is. Now moving over to the zoom feature, the 2x zoom, Redmi gives you more contrast, more details, and that can be seen up to 10x zoom on the Redmi. And that's because you have more pixels for more details from the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G. Now taking a look at the ultra-wide lenses, you can tell that Redmi looks as though it has the better details yet again. To the front-facing cameras, there is a 16 megapixel sensor on the Redmi and a whopping 32 megapixel sensor on the Samsung. Photos from the front-facing cameras look kinda different, but with more detail and saturation or richer colors coming from the Samsung Galaxy A55. You can see that the front-facing camera photos from the Redmi look kinda pale in comparison, and there seems to be a plasticky thing going on here. This is also seen in the front-facing camera portrait mode, and the edge detection seems better with the Samsung. Now photos from the Redmi Note front-facing camera are not bad, just that you get richer and more details from the Samsung's cameras. Both record videos at up to 4K for the rear cameras, and when it comes to the front-facing cameras, you're looking at a maximum of 1080p, which is Full HD from the Redmi, and also 4K recording from the Galaxy A55. The videos from the rear cameras follow the same pattern as the photos. Richer and more vibrant colors from the Galaxy A55, but a little washed out version of the same shots from the Redmi. Now for this front-facing camera video recordings, both smartphones have recorded at 1080p, which is the maximum resolution for the Redmi so as to match the resolutions. The colors are simply better with more details from the Galaxy A55. Generally for the cameras, the Samsung Galaxy A55 has the better system, vibrant colors, better photos when you know what to do, and better video quality. The only section where the Redmi wins would be in zoomed in photos. For both of the smartphones, you get a 5000 mAh battery. Now I know there are plenty good for this kind of smartphones and they will last you into the next day of use on average use, but that's not exactly where the differences lie. The A55 has support for a maximum of 25 watts charging, which takes you about 90 minutes to charge the smartphone from 0 to 100, and that's when you use an authorized charger. On the other hand, the Redmi here gives you a 120 watt super fast charger out of the box that takes about 20 minutes to juice this guy from 0 to 100. That's insane. You do not have to spend extra money to get an extra charger like you do for Samsung here, and the Redmi wins in this category hands down. So, if you want the overall better value for money smartphone here, the better processing, better design in my opinion, faster charging with loads of accessories within the box, and you do not mind not having a memory card expansion slot, then the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G is the cheaper and better device to buy. Otherwise, if you are loyal to the Samsung brand and you want more updates into the future or operating system updates, a better camera, and memory card storage expansion slot matters a lot to you, then the Samsung Galaxy A55 is the way to go. Check out my dedicated reviews on the smartphones here. That day.